So, if you wouldn't mind just telling us what you're doing in Northern California at basically the site of this weekend's Super Bowl.
Well, here in North California, we are working with other organizations to search, watch for kids that are missing. We know that around large events like this, sex exploitation is on an increase. We know that online ads go up. And so we are working with class kids. We're working with a group called Call to Rescue, local law enforcement, FBI, police, to find those kids, get them to a safe place, get them to a place that sometimes home, we used to say we want to get them home, but sometimes home is not the safest place for them. So we're just trying to get them to a safe place. The street is no place for a kid.
Well, now, I understand, Chaplain, that this recently came to light in the fact that a Denver Bronco reserve player was sent home, all revolving around something to do with prostitution with a relative and that sort of thing. And I think this really points out that the work that you're doing is very important.
It's always glaring when somebody that's in the spotlight steps into that realm. And it's not only glaring, but it's disappointing. There's this view that there's an entitlement that if you have enough money, then you can buy whatever you want. But never in the understanding of humanity was a human person for sale for anything, mind you, to be exploited sexually. And so it did bring it to light. And in some ways, I guess it's good that it does bring it to light, because there are still those that are in somewhat of a denial that this is taking place, and it is for real. And I'm very proud of the Denver Broncos to make their stand and to send him home.
Now I do know that with the Olympics coming up, I understand in Rio, not too long from now, it's going to be an even bigger problem perhaps there than it is here. What are groups like yours planning to do in a situation like that?
Well, there are actually a lot of groups that are international, that are on the ground, that are busy, that have their hands in the mix of things internationally. And so there are a lot of groups. 821, International Justice Mission will be there. And we've talked about partnering with them the best we can. But, our group is really focused on the problem right here in the United States. We're talking about almost 3 million American boys and girls, men and women, that are being trafficked right here within our own borders. So we feel like the problem right here in the United States is big enough for us to focus on that. But absolutely, Rio is on the radar, and people are definitely pointing that direction.
What can folks do here in Missoula to help you and your organization out?
Well, the biggest thing that we always tell people is just be aware. Be aware of that this is absolutely for real. Slavery is not dead. In fact, there are more slaves on the face of the earth than at any other time in history. And, we have this unofficial mantra in our culture that says, mind your own business. But that hasn't helped anybody. In fact, from the time that Martin Luther King Jr. stood up and said he had a dream that we have increased slavery to a point where he would be flabbergasted, literally appalled at how we have completely turned. Now, we're not talking racial, we're not talking socioeconomic. Human trafficking is across all of those attributes. So the best thing is to just be aware, look around, see things. There are people that may not think that in Missoula that it takes place, but it absolutely takes place. We've got great people in the police department and in the sheriff's office that are, getting trained to recognize victims, how to treat victims. Laws are changing. Our Attorney General is on top of it, and it's a positive thing. 4 years ago, Montana was listed as really being what they called us one of the faltering four, and we were behind the times. Our laws were out of date, but things are moving forward, which is a good sign.